That was probably one of the toughest things I've had to face in my life, and it was just recently. So just when you think that you're stable and life doesn't give you any more challenges, boom.
Hey, welcome to another episode of The Teo Show. My name is Adrian, and today we'll be talking about advice we would give our younger selves and how our past experiences can shape our future. So before we dive in, allow me to introduce a very special guest today. You may recognize his voice from the Malaysian airwaves. He has over 20 years experience in the radio industry, and he's now with FlyFM. It's Ian Nasrun, everyone.
Hello. Why do you have to go and say 20 years experience, man?
Is it not true?
It defines my age. I started radio when I was 6 years old. So you do the math from that point. Thanks for having me on the show, man.
Would you be able to share a personal story
Sure.
that left a significant impact on, perhaps not only on yourself, but those around you?
A couple of months ago, I lost my dad. The lead up to that was quite intense because I was switching stations from my old station to FlyFM. So I don't think people realize as a radio announcer, when you move to another station, it's full on. You gotta, pretty much for the first year, you are married to your job, and that's how we want it, And my dad got really sick at that point in time, and I had to actually take a month off work, transitioning from the old station to this one. So I didn't have any finances coming in. And again, not complaining, illness is what it is, but man, that left a toll on me financially, emotionally. Everything was kind of happening at once, and there's a lot of emotion too when you're switching jobs, especially when it's something where you're so heavily involved like radio, And that was tough, man. And that was probably one of the toughest things I've had to face in my life, and it was just recently. So just when you think that you're stable and life doesn't give you any more challenges, boom, something new.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry for a loss, but
worries.
I sympathize with that, and at the same time, going through that tough period in time, what is perhaps the biggest lesson that you learned from the experience of losing a loved one, and how did that change your outlook on perhaps preparing for the future?
Two things. Okay, number one, preparation is always good in terms of, for me, it always goes back to time. Like, not so much finances, but time. I realize that no matter how much I try to plan ahead, things are going to come and, sweep you off your feet and catch you off guard. And the main thing is not to be so rigid in ideas, like just be a little bit more open to everything around you. I'm still learning that, I feel like that's the biggest lesson in my life, to kind of be open to what's in front of me and be present.
Yeah. So, coming back to the question of the day, right? If you had a time machine, what advice would you give yourself in a nutshell to prepare for life's uncertainties? Okay,
I'm glad you said in a nutshell, otherwise we'd be here for ages. Primary thing is pace. This is one thing I learned now. I was in such a rush when I first joined radio, as you said, 20 years ago. I really wish you didn't say that. No, I'm just kidding. I was in such a rush to do everything, I wanted to achieve so many things, but time takes time. I felt like I cut a lot of corners in the beginning of my radio career. I had a bit of a burnout in 2016 because I wanted to, I was saying yes to everything. Now, I think my main skill is I'm really good at saying no. I'm not trying to take on too many tasks at once, just pacing myself out and putting more focus into the activities that I do. I feel like if you take your time with things, you can put more attention and a lot more quality. The outcome is a lot more quality rather than, trying to do everything, rush it, and then you walk out of it ill.
With our younger audience in mind, what sort of advice could you give them to prepare for, things that could happen out of nowhere?
So honestly, I always try not to give advice, but say, trust your gut a lot more. I always feel like people know exactly what they're going through. Trust yourself, because there's a lot of bad advice out there. Probably more than good advice.
There is.
Yeah.
Speaking of giving advice, I recently discovered that Zurich, Malaysia, has recently initiated this campaign called Dear Younger Me. So the idea behind this initiative is that they teamed up with some familiar faces to give advice, life tips, health advice, and share it online. Now, they have also gone to the streets of KL and interviewed regular Malaysians to get their take on the sort of advice that they would give themselves when they were younger. So we have a TV screen behind the cameras, and we'll show you some clips. So the first one is by the wonderful Irfan Khairi, and you can see him conducting some box pops.
Okay.
If you have a time machine, knowing what you know right now, what would be your advice to your younger self?
Well, when investing, don't put all your money into one place. Just spread it out to reduce the risk.
Yeah, that's good advice.
And then we have a second one. Yeah.
If I had a time machine, I think I would, live life more, go outside more, so I can, understand more of life, and just, I think I should have done that.
I mean, to be fair, he's still young. He can still do it.
He looks like he still has time. So live your life, dude. That's good advice too, though.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta live life to the fullest, and to achieve that, you have to go out there and experience life, right? Okay, by another channel that I really enjoy, Malaysia Homie.
Okay, I have one question for you. What advice will you give for your younger self?
I will ask them to put more effort in studying.
I figured.
Same up. Also, just be happy with what you choose to do.
Be happy with what you choose to do.
I think at 17, I would have told myself the same thing too. Focus more on your studies.
Again, they still have a lot of time.
Yeah, man, a lot of time.
Okay, and the last one.
Saya satu soalan. Apa nasihat untuk bagi dekat awak masa kecil? Tak payah fikir apa yang orang cakap, cari diri sendiri.
There you go.
Yeah, you gotta believe in yourself.
Yeah, that's kind of like what we said just now, isn't it?
Yeah, don't think too much about what people say or think about you. You just gotta do your own thing. Okay, great. What do you think about this initiative where people are going around sharing their advice and their life tips and experiences, personal experiences?
Yeah.
With everyone online. What do you think about it?
Because it's just basically like, someone telling their younger selves, like I said just now, that's the best person. When you look in retrospect, you kind of know where, areas that you should have put more effort in.
Okay, yeah.
Can I just add something in? Yeah. Like I only later on in life, I started, as much as you try to run away from the fact that finances, like you try to live thinking finances aren't important, it so is. You got to be prepared that way. There's one thing about being emotionally prepared and, open to receive a situation. Being financially prepared helps everything. There's no sort of, harm in doing that. So
Yeah. So I mean, I don't think there's no such thing as being too early to be prepared for something. And I think if you are aware of the kind of protection coverages that are available, and you understand the needs and the budget that you have, I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea to be a party to this risk transference contract, right? So, okay. Thank you, Ian, for such an enlightening conversation.
I hope it was. Yeah.
I really appreciate the insights that you gave into how our past experiences can shape our future.
Yeah.
And, let's keep the conversation going to our listeners out there who are tuning in. Thank you so much for listening in. And please do leave a comment down below. Give yourself a piece of advice to your younger self with the hashtag Zurich Malaysia. Look forward to our next episode, and we'll see you next time. Until then, take care.